Welcome to Dungeon Master, sponsored by Van Eyck's Belgian Waffles. Get them in Bruges or Brussels, and then catch Motor City before you leave. Now this isn't going, so we must pray the gods of time will unleash us from this madness that is an offshoot focus that has downed my film so early on. Well, if that doesn't even start. Oh, this is cool. This is that company, they work at Yale. Disney, yeah, they're ahead of everybody. I guess they bought everybody out and gave them all their money back and sent them back out. And like, they just were doing that to keep it like an umbrella on everybody's company. We're going to do some cartoon stuff because we've been going through the dungeons of cartoons, and I'm taking over for Dungeon Master. Hi, I'm Mortimer Ipswich of Boulder, Colorado, and this is actually a movie that's competing, and that's why I'm shaking. It's competing in the Stan Brakhage-a-thon, which despite the movie that Kenneth Anger ate of Stan Brakhage's, it was just more autopsy footage. The Stan Brakhage got so mad that he raised his wallet at me, and I paid him $600 and he never showed me the movie he made, but it was not on the Criterion box set of Stan Brakhage, but I've got that film here and I haven't reviewed it on Masterclass because now it's the whole, do I side with Kenneth Anger or do I side with Stan Brakhage? And I don't side one way or the other on the conversation because it was none of my business, but you know, I'm casting gossip anyway. To cast that kind of gossip, you have to in the avant-garde world, man. Ballet Mécanique. All right, I've seen this one before. You're right, Ferdinand Lager. Dudley Murphy. I've never really noticed these credits before. Okay, that's Charlie Chaplin, dude. I can recognize him immediately. Is this Pictionary or what? Ballet Mécanique. We already saw Mechanica. We already saw that she's swinging. Is this the Thin Red Line? Is this still Ballet Mécanique or is this a commercial? Wow, this looks like straight out of True Heart Susie. I'm liking this colorization. Wait, who directed this movie? Ferdinand Lager? I thought he was in the 20s. This is a color film in the 20s? What'd they do? Color it with crayons? Crayons weren't even invented till the 1930s. Around the time Nintendos were invented in Japan. And now we go on with Dungeon Master, checking the reels of film and tape. And there's one of the Dungeon Master reel-to-reel tapes. And it's a ball in my hand, and it's more Thin Red Line. And if Terrence Malick took this shot exactly, then I'm taking it again. But it's framed by Computer Framework, so it's tacky to do it this way because I'm bootlegging for all you can see. But if I keep the title in it, it's completely irrelevant. But if I go this way, now we're all sideways, and I like this better. As soon as we got involved, but is this really Ballet Mécanique? This looks like the 70s version with Scooby-Doo and all those characters. And who are you, Dungeon Master, to say that I can't cast clerical magic? I know, Dungeon Master, you had your annual ritual of the devil coming over. What did you and the devil talk about last night, Dungeon Master? Oh, yeah, well, we talked some shit over. Yeah, I was talking to that musician that comes in here, Poor Rat Trash. He's always doing his girlfriends, right? It's after this dungeon that you'll see him doing his girlfriends in the frame-by-frame screen, or somebody inserts it into this one while I'm recording, or after the recording inserts are made. Hell, man, I was up all night. I was trying to get a hold of Trent Reznor, but he said he already did his part, and then he left his part, so I gave him back his part, and then he had to part with his part. Okay, this is some kind of hypnotic movie, isn't it? I like these eyes of gringos. And look at this, we have a swirla-whirla, and this is not just your average foldy roll. And this is Bangna Zanga. And I love this because it's whack but a boa. And everything about this is getting me jeebed. But look at those eyes, those beautiful. Wait, there's 4 of them. Okay, that was the same shot. Now it looks like a roll of paper towels anyway. What are you doing with that? Putting saran wrap on it? What are you gonna do? Use it for a smoke shelter? Oh, look at this. It's the pulsation of metal in a fake parrot. It could be real. It looks real. It was real. But it looks fake in a way. Because it's mécanique, man. What is that French for automaton? Because all the movies are automatons. You just push the button and they go. You push the button and they go. You can skip around, but I think we're going to watch this movie because really, Dungeon Master, do you see what you've done? You stayed all night up talking with the devil about some Civil War nonsense. And now here I am, stuck with the camera. Man, these poor white trash will really put some music to this. And I thank YouTube for YouTube creators with my whole heart. If they didn't let me put this music on the background, I'd just ask them to pay for the rights. But if I did that, they'd see it in the middle of the movie and they're like, well, you can probably do that out of your account. And I'm like, well, go ahead then, because I need all the rights to classical music I can get. I don't want to be like a song hog on rock and roll. But like, there's all these songs on classical that it gets me over here. I think what he's saying is I had to talk to the devil last night and he was pissed. He asked why I never called him back. And I said, because I don't know your number. And he said, well, it's the only joke you know by me. It's the 700 Club. And I said, you mean you invented that to create your own bad press at Disney just so you could kill a Christian? I like it. And they're supposed to be martyrs anyway, so it all works out. Culturally, I see it as progress, but I still am going to cut his head off and shoot him when he stands back up, and I don't know what, I'll just put him in his grave if he's a producer like that. But I have to admit, I did used to get on my teacher Dallas Willard's back and say, quit making my friend nervous. See, he's not my friend, he's my God, and I worship him. And Dallas Willard was making him nervous, so I said, stop making him nervous or I'm coming down there with a gun plow. And Willard was like joking with me. He's like, I'm gonna shoot him now. And he shoots this bullet, and we all thought that he'd killed someone. And then I called John Wagner right after that. I'm like, I'll just shoot Willard out because he was messing with your vibes in a bad way. He's like, how did you know about Willard? I'm like, well, everybody knows about Willard. It's either a rat movie or a rat man. No, I miss him though. When he died, I took his liver and ate it because I wanted to desecrate things around the office for a while. That's what the Southern Baptist Commission told me to do. It's like, if you find him dying, right when he dies, cook him up and eat him. Humans are always the best fresh served right off the death. So I had to eat him though, because he wouldn't leave my friend alone and kept distracting him. But he was in a rather satanic mood too. By the way, Dungeon Master, what did you and exactly Satan talk about last night? Well, we talked about this movie called Ballet Mécanique, and we weren't sure if we'd ever seen it before. And really, this doesn't look like the same version I've seen. It's a different film every time. And this looks like some other avant-garde film I thought was Entr'acte. And Entr'acte looks way different because there's cannon shooting, and it's 30 minutes, and I don't know where we're at here, but I have Entr'acte on this list. But for once, we must stick with the prime zone.
Pianist Andras Schiff with the Orchestra of the Age
Who?
of Enlightenment.
Was that the Enchantress I hear?
From the piano concerto
Oh, thank you,
number 2
Enchantress. I
by
tried to
Johannes
pick a good
Brahms
station.
On Colorado Public
You want to
Radio
come over later? Well, I'll have to ask the
Drier and
writer.
warmer weather as we head into the weekend. And
Yeah,
still a
just
chance
go through
for
the scene and
light
explain
snow
the
this weekend,
technical,
mainly over the higher terrain west and
no,
south
the
of
Industrial
Denver,
Revolution
including
and
possible
art in the
interjection.
age of mechanical
Highs
reproduction.
in the 40s in the Denver metro through the weekend.
How
50s
TV
in
is
Grand
mechanically reproduced the most, other than books, but books aren't as produced as TV. Yes, this is Dungeon Master. Can I help you? I'm gonna have to come down in about 10 minutes. All right, pump that driver. There she looks. I love interruptions now. They either make my stomach hurt or my head start to spin. That could be from watching this because she's got it on there with a pottery lamp, and I don't know how this turned into Man with a Movie Camera. But this is some serious Metropolis industrial labor shiznit. And what is this, Koyaanisqatsi? Is she carrying that baggie with her back or whatever? Is that Philip Glass in Koyaanisqatsi? Yeah, I can't even say the word. It's like the Bhagavad Gita or the Mahabharata. They're really hard words to say. That smile is creeping me out. Is that like the Joker's wife? Hang on. This is not your typical movie. I remember the increasingly getting up the stairs and starting her back down lower, and then she's got to go all the way to the bottom. Oh, man. I wonder how many, hours she had to carry that up the stairs for Ferdinand Leisure to get her, in the shot. And this has got to be a French film. I mean, if it's not a French film, you can tell it's a French film because the camera's sideways. Let's see what happens. This looks like the end. We've come to the end of Ballet Mécanique. Everyone, please change your masks and tone. Ballet Mécanique. It's not over yet. But I gotta tell you, there's one that I want you to see worse. I have to be a little selective in my... Oh, the camera's having a loop. Oh man, this is awful. Well, keep looking at Ballet Mécanique and I will fix the technical difficulty as I trip through the maze of wonder that is Dungeon Master. But when you see us go off screen, it's a loading screen. It's where we're loading up the next clip, and I would keep it front and center, but I've only got 3 hands and 2 dicks. The Pennsylvania Public Library Center? I want to go to Pennsylvania Library. I've been to Pennsylvania Library. I've been to Library of Congress to work there, you know. I'm the writer. Where is this box coming from and why does it look suspicious? This is a Mandala Chakra Vortex Cosmos. It's where you see the formation of allures. Allures is one of my favorites of all time. You can fly through outer space in this movie, and you can literally learn to astral project from this. If you watch it hypnotically backward, it's just as wild of a dream narrative. Now look at this. We're all getting hypnotized. This is a good movie. This is underrated. It's sort of the California surfer dude movies, Jordan Belson. May he reign in heaven forever. And he runs the IOTA group, which really, you give them $5, they can stretch it into making 5 movies. But you gotta buy them for $14.95 to $19.95. The IOTA Center might even charge for $24.95. It's worth it if you're looking for experimental animation in LA. Now this ball here comes up directly to become the first video game, Pong, the Magic Carpet Ride. And that there's a magic carpet ride around every turn in Dungeon Master is without to say the least. And I cast the Fleece of Wile, and I cast the Oak of Shame, and I cast the Wilderness, and thy guide, O thy master, and the gods will see us glorify the Jordan Belson meditation therapy that we're going through right now. And it looks like fireworks are going off. Should we back off a little bit? And there's a circle. It's a circle. And it's inside a box. And there's an eye of the beholder. And I wonder if that eye is wandering still. I wonder if I could see the moon from the windowsill. I wonder if that eclipse was really burning on me. I wonder if the lights are all turning off on me. Or turning me on. Something's turning me on about this cartoon. Is anyone else getting kind of horny? Because I don't want to do that right now, because I admitted today that I had 2 girlfriends yet. I got 2 girlfriends, and it's hard being a writer with 2 girlfriends, because then people start to ask questions like, are you crazy that you have 2 girlfriends? And I'm like, well, I'm crazy that I have 1. But if I had 2 girlfriends, why is that crazy? Just because 1 is crazy? So it's already crazy to have 1. Oh, it's crazier to have 2. Well, does that mean it's crazier to have 3? Or is there some point that it evens out with the spectra? That you can have 3 girlfriends but not 4, because that separates the logarithm an inch too far or something? I don't know. Well, this dungeon master is going along pleasantly. I just talked to director Peter Dukes over the wire, and he was so thrilled to see I'd sent him a high concept of the Van Eyck story. And don't get me wrong, I've already mentioned it in this episode. You make me laugh, but one thing he did do was invent movies like this from the occult, and that he did magic lantern slides and oil paintings. And one day he just kind of lost his head, and his family lost their heads, and then they got their heads back, and then they were buried again. And I just thought, buried under all that research, I could just make it simple. And if it was a Peter Dukes movie, it would be Glory Unto God by the Dollmen vs. Demonic Toys level. That it would probably be second only to David Cronenberg's first favorite film, if someone did the Van Eyck story and did it a little more colorful with Dark Shadows looks. And don't do it in Belgium. Lighten it up and don't do it in Belgium. Do it in English like they did Lust for Life. Come on now. I'm only requesting Hollywood because it's a lonely place in here. I'm addressing messages to Hollywood right now as I send money to them. Look into the vortex. See what you can ride. Does it look like films are in production right now? No. Does Dungeon Master count as a real movie? No. Is it a game movie that's hard to beat? Yeah. Where's the next level up? Probably in 10 levels. We're playing for keeps, man. You go the distance and you go. You go the distance and you go, because that's where you flow with what you know. And here is the circle of life, which moves us all and brings us all to find our way to the path enlightening. It's the circle of life. That was a poem written by Walt Spielberg. And Walt Spielberg was really feeling like in 50 years when his alien ghost stops directing movies, like I'm gonna read the paper and it'll like make me drop out of my internet. It'll be so tragic. And I don't want to think about that now, because some people think we'd like to see the end of everything, the end of cinema. But producers usually live a really long time, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm like, how do I know I'll even be around by then? You know, it's like, we're a lost cause, man. We threw all our simple grids onto one grid and we're a lost freaking cause. I mean, now it's like, if the cinema of abandonment came over me, I could make this project. Dungeon Master was talking to a friend and said that his next project, Dark Lord, cannot tie in with Dungeon Master, but I just did, because now I'm talking about Dark Lord, but I'm being critical here of Dark Lord. And I'm not going to give anything away about Dark Lord, but the director has a very special announcement at the beginning about why he gave his soul back to Satan. The devil, Lucifer, Beelzebub, all got a piece. And it was only then that things came clear to him. And this is the first cartoon you ever rewatched from this last time on Dungeon Master. Wasn't Jordan Belson amazing? Was Jordan Belson enough to rock your socks off? Because I'm dying from phantasmagoria changing every time I see it. How does that chalk explain how it's changing each time I see it? I've never seen this part, never seen this part. I've seen this part, never seen this part, seen this part. seen this part, never seen. Oh, I knew, I'm sorry. I always do that during movies. I'm like, seen this part? No, I haven't seen this part. And it's really annoying and really immature of me to even make a game like this, but this visuals, at least, that someone else made, named Emile Cole from France. It was the first cartoon, the invention of cartoons, and we're watching it now. Only I have it on Cartoon Madness, and it looks all filtered out on that other version. Yeah, it's filtered out on that other version, and here's a clown flying upside down, man, and he's got his Pegasus, he's got his frickin' Waddy Reiniger, and I don't know what that is. That's a commercial, and that looked like nothing of the Phantasmagoria of yesteryear. So you gotta be kidding me, that's the Phantasmagoria of yesteryear? Man, and that's not even the same one I saw the first 100 times. Well, we're cruising down the list. What do you think? Check out some Betty Boop, see if we can get turned on by it. Chicks actually get jealous of me when I talk about Betty Boop. I don't know why. Like, just because I think she's a hot cartoon makes chicks jealous. But sometimes it isn't so bad to get chicks jealous. Why stop talking about relationships and gooey. You know I'm gonna have to one of these days suffer and bring out the eunuch. And he will declare our war over, okay? Wait, who am I talking to? That's the cleric, that's the warrior. It's the enchantress. The enchantress, hold me in your arms, for you were made to give me sunshine and rain. And I was looking for you last December, when I had but a bitty timber. I looked in your eyes and shook my thighs and said, that's one baby that knows how to fly. And then I said, fly baby fly, 'cause you're in my way. And I said, look the other way, 'cause you're in the way. And every time I stare at chicks like this, I feel like I'm watching a movie, 'cause that's the only time I stare at chicks is when the camera stares at chicks. Do you ever notice how the camera stares at chicks and stares at objects? And this doesn't seem like the same cartoon I once saw. But I don't even know what cartoon this is, and we just... Betty Boop. Where's Betty? Why can't we see Betty? I want to fast forward this. No, we're taking the whole loop, just like we did the unoriginal Mickey Mouse. That was all original, and we hadn't had that cartooning time for years, and he logged it and found it on YouTube. We'll all be gosh danged, because it just came out that day, and someone must have released it before I knew about it. So just because we caught a Mickey feed and we got some Pokemon done doesn't mean we're halfway through the dungeon. And this is the Grand Dungeon I'm talking about. The Grand Dungeon that has all the episodes back to back as the final dungeon time. And I'm thinking it's heading into a pretty big clock here. But I'm not saying that to end it now. And it's weird that Betty Boop's looking all fine, but don't you hate it when chicks hold their kids and like you can't look at them because they're holding their kids and you're like, that kind of creeps me out. Alright, so this is like this chick and she's playing with her dogs, and this kid I do approve of because she's sneezing, and this is a weird Betty Boop cartoon because did she just come down as a salamander with wings? Or is she a centipede? Is she the smoker from Alice in Wonderland? And how did I get this Betty Boop cartoon in the first place? And who's the reanimator of this? And I don't mean the Omen child Damien. Coming, Dark Lord. The story of Damien the Antichrist. See, I'm always billing my own filmings. Because if I skill what I got, I can remember what I'm not, and that will make me hot because I look like I shot a cartoon in your face, and it made me want to say lace is the best thing I got for you to chase, so come back here and give me a race, because I want to be in line for fall, and you want to be on down the hall, and I'm kicking ass and you got your toot, and now I'm really fucking in the fucking mood. Anyway, this is Betty Boop. She gets me going on this kind of hip-hop level. Hang on. Yeah, Betty Boop invented hip-hop's totally true. Well, not all of it, but... Alright, that was kind of a good one, but we'll resort to madness on this and see what we can do. We had this one on recent cartoon dungeon. I'd like to take a selection from the recent cartoon dungeon to a dungeon that's been played in Dungeon Master a couple of dungeon times. And if you play Dungeon Master Dungeon, then I will show you dungeon that there is a dungeon below the dungeon below the dungeon. And if you've seen Steamboat Willie before, it doesn't matter because Dungeon Master changes every time. The cartoon is changing, but this is the same one I've ever seen. We all know that he's whistling. What? I hear the Enchantress from the speakers of the music. She's announcing the cartoon. And the music too, and I shouldn't have been talking over the top of it. That's going to be a cross thread where you might have gotten a level up, but you've got to rewind to find out. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to level up right now. Don't worry about it. Look at this bear that's poking and prodding this guy, and it's like Mickey Mouse, and it's his first sound cartoon, and now we're not getting sound. We're watching Silent like plain crazy. Silent like plain crazy is why I feel so hazy. If you were Steamboat Willie, would you pop a wheelie? On your bike when you're riding around, and you threw a bucket at a duck sound, and you ran to the back of the boat. And this guy's got a sour note. That's me I'm talking about. Well, that's about right. But look at that tobacco he's chewing down. That almost makes me want to stop right here and collide with my own tobacco habit. Did you know I smoke 20 pounds of tobacco a day? In each bowl I pack a pound, and there's 20 bowls a day, and it's this big hookah that I have. Well, I'm lying. It's what I would do if I didn't have to lead you all through the grand dungeon of Dungeon Master. And it's like the grand tour of the Knights Templar. It's the grand dungeon. You're getting everything, reverse and backwards. And just because we lost a couple of Dungeon Masters back there in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, it's the 2020s now, and this time Dungeon Master's not going to tank. This time job security and directing is so firm that no Dungeon Masters will have to fall, except this one might have to air on Facebook only or YouTube only, or we wish that the YouTube guys would buy the rights to the classical music, but sometimes they're hard files to find. And what's Mickey doing, and why does he look 3D, and why does this look 3D? And is this Steamboat Willie still? Where's the boat? How could he be on a boat that's like still water? Do they park? Why don't I remember this scene? Are they changing these cartoons? No, they never change a cartoon. A cartoon always comes in its original form, and it's stamped off just like it. Trust me, every version of Secret of NIMH is the same. Every Princess Mononoke the same. Well, we know no two versions of the Animatrix are the same, for instance. And Lottie Ranaga's Adventures of Prince Ahmad, same and different. There were different versions, but they were about the same. I don't really know which ones were the same or were different. But that goat's looking pretty same and different. O goat of ye majesty, we do worship thee, O Bacchus. And here is Minnie Mouse flashing at Mickey Mouse, and their goat is a note full of rote, and my coat. My coat's a goat. My coat's a goat, and I'm cool with that. My coat is a goat, and this is about the 30th time I've seen this cartoon change. It must be a Walt Disney tradition. If you put a Walt Disney logo on everything, they get a different copy of the same movie. Because I didn't see these movies this way before, but maybe Disney put in their missing footage. The missing footage that's like 2 seconds long that changes the whole thing. It's like when you go into a room and suddenly it's bigger and suddenly it's smaller. And then you drink a little bit of water and it shrinks you. And then you like eat one side of the bread and it makes you tall. Then you cry and you go through the pool with your tears. Mary Queen of Scots, amen.